Hi everybody, thanks for joining us here at Book Blather today. If you're new here, I'm Dave, this is Olive, and we like to have a little fun while we talk about the books that we've read or acquired recently to help spread the joy of reading. So we're very, very careful about spoilers here. I actually don't think anything we're going to discuss today is really a spoiler, but we're going to talk about a book that we read recently, an old vintage science fiction book, and then we're also going to compare it briefly to another more modern one. And really, that more modern one is, which I highly recommend, so I don't want to ruin it for anybody because we love that series. I think we're going to talk about basically a major plot point. And so I don't think it's a spoiler. It's just something, it's not on the jacket of the book. But anybody that talks about the book, really except for us, mentions it because it's a very major plot point and it starts early and it's kind of major theme in the book. But if you don't even want to hear that, then, this is your fair warning for spoilers and you want to stop watching now. So the book that we're actually wanted to review that we read recently is this, The Forgotten Planet by Murray Leinster. So this is, as you can see, this is the old Ace version, 35 cents. And we read, so this was published in 1954. This is actually, it's actually a fix-up novel there was originally two stories, Mad Planet and Red Dust, which were stories in Amazing Stories in 1926 and 1927. Much later, Leinster also published Nightmare Planet in 1953. And so those three made up this, formed the basis for this fix-up novel, which unlike some other fix-up novels, this actually did not, at least to us, did not read like a fix-up novel. It seemed like a pretty seamless story to us. This was the monthly pick over at Michael K. Vaughan's channel, which will be linked below, and if you're not already subscribed, you should. Wonderful channel. And so this was the monthly pick for March for Roger's Cheap Old Book Club over there. And so we had a fun time with this. It wasn't the best, but so basically what this story was about was in the far future, man is colonizing all other worlds. And the way they do that is they send these sort of seed ships, and they send different waves of seed ships to do different stages of seeding a planet for subsequent human colonization. So what happened was, this is the Forgotten Planet, is a planet that had started to get seeded, and then the planet got forgotten about. And then accidentally, some people later get stranded there. But the planet had already originally had these seeding stages, and so it already started to develop on its own. And so this is one of those stories, that's the kind of stories that we love, that really deal with sort of long-term evolution of different species, not human species, but also other creatures. And that's what this is, right? The planet developed, but also then the humans that get stranded there, they're there, I forget what it was, like 30, 40 generations, and so they're adapting to their environment, and so basically that's what you end up seeing. You end up seeing this a human society, and I mean this, you see this right in the beginning. It's not spoiler. There's a human society, a small human society that's significantly regressed because it is basically focused just on survival. And you get to see, one of the basically the predominant, what do you call it, predator on the planet, or alpha species on the planet, is insects. And so, you get to see that, and we follow this individual Burl, who comes to some revelations and he discovers some things about the world and about himself to rise, help humanity start to rise up again. So it's very much a character study of this character Burl, but also, just a neat review of the different things that would have happened and the different things that you would see over the course of these many eons of different things evolving. So, and a very different planet with very different type of environment. So, there was a lot of cool ideas in here. You know, overall, I wouldn't say it was a a phenomenal book. I mean, I don't know. We steered away from giving stars, but if we were gonna, we would maybe say this was like a 3 out of 5 stars or something like that. I mean, it was worth reading, but not phenomenal. It was fairly exciting, although some of the even though it's not that long, some of the descriptiveness of the environment did drag a little bit. In the middle of the book. So anyway, so it was worth reading. But what we also wanted to talk about was we had an interesting experience while reading this book. Because, and this is, the part that this was what we give the spoiler warning for. So again, I don't think you have to worry, but again, one final warning. When we were reading through it, we had a very, sort of vivid flashback to this book, Children of Time, by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Now we did a review of this. We actually did a review of what we thought was just going to be a 2-book series a little while ago, which we'll link below. Children of Time and Children of Ruin, and we did a video dedicated to these 2 books because we thought these were absolutely phenomenal. If you want to hear more about them, we'll have a video link below. But these were great. This was a great science fiction series. As it turns out, which we did not expect, there is actually now a 3rd one that just came out in the U.S. Like in January, or the very end of January. It's only been out like 2 months. Children of Memory. So we haven't read it yet, but we did just get it, and we're pretty excited to get into this because we love the series. And so, but this book, Children of Time, I think came out in around 2015. Yeah, 2015. This basically what this story was. It was kind of a similar concept. It was basically a forgotten planet. So, way set in the future, humanity has expanded into this vast intergalactic, or I don't know if intergalactic, but interstellar at least, society. And has started to go and develop different worlds, and so there's this one planet that they are going to. There's a scientist that's in a station revolving around the planet, and she is starting the process. And she sends down some monkeys, and sends down this virus to that will help accelerate their evolution. And of course, things go wrong in the grand scheme of things, and it doesn't quite go down the way it was supposed to. And so evolution takes hold, and this planet develops, but it was not with the monkeys. So this is the little spoilery part, but you find this out very early on, and most of the book is based on this, is that it's actually the insects, and in particular the spiders, that develop into a very advanced species. And then later on, there are separate things going on with humanity, and some of this stuff converges. And so Tchaikovsky does such a phenomenal job of taking you through, in a very exciting way, taking you through the evolution on this planet that had basically been abandoned and left to its own devices with this spider and other insect evolution. And so you see a lot of descriptions in there about that and what happens over time. And so when I was reading it, when I was reading The Forgotten Planet by Murray Leinster, I immediately started having flashbacks to this. Number one, because just there's sort of this general theme of showing what would happen to the insect world if it were given the opportunity to experience long-term evolution over eons, and just sort of like detailed but cool, not so boring, detailed but cool. Showing of what the many different things that could happen to different creatures and the environment, and but also there was some scenes that were actually very, very familiar, and in particular when it really hit me was in this. There's a particular scene about just this sort of relentless march of a mindless ant army over the landscape that's just unintelligently demolishing everything in its path, that is a threat to others that are more advanced. And that scene was just total, complete flashback to a scene, a very long scene in Children of Time. And I couldn't help but wonder as I was reading it if Tchaikovsky in Children of Time was influenced. I keep picking these up and putting them down. I don't know why. Why do I do that, Olive? Anyway, I couldn't help but wonder if Tchaikovsky was influenced by Forgotten Planet. And of course, he's a very prolific science fiction writer, and so good chance he's read this, and so I would suspect that he was probably pretty influenced by this, and I don't know, consciously or unconsciously, but anyway, I found that to be a pretty fascinating parallel between these two books that were separated by 70 years. So if you've read these two books and you have any thoughts on this, let us know. And if you've only read one, you should probably read the other because they're both worth reading. Like I said, The Forgotten Planet was decent. Children of Time was phenomenal. And so, you know, if you're a science fiction fan, you might want to read the other if you've only read one, just to see what you what you think about it and what your impression is of these two books that were so far separated in time. So, like I said, if you have any thoughts on it, you know, definitely leave us a comment. We always love to hear from you. And if you don't leave anything substantive, you can always leave Olive a puppy emoji. She always loves to see those. But as always, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so that you get notified the next time Olive says it's okay to upload another video. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.